Hi, thank you for your patience. Couple of technical glitches here. So because Greta has a plane to catch, she will be speaking with us first for about 20 minutes. And if anybody has any questions for her when we're finished talking about what she's doing, feel free to raise your hand and ask away. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any of them. After Greta, we will be speaking to Sophiyah Liu from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, my bad, where it is 3:30 in the morning, close to 3:30 in the morning, bless her heart. So that's going to be fun. And then Lisa Turbot, unfortunately, cannot be with us today. I apologize about that, to spring that news on you. But instead of her being here talking about what she's doing, Sophiyah and I will continue to talk about her behind her back and let you know all of the great things she's doing up in Canada. So we'll have plenty of time to let you know what's going on and to take any questions. So thank you all for joining us, and Greta for joining us from, where are you, in the Delta Lounge?
I'm in the Sky Lounge in Atlanta.
The Sky Lounge in Atlanta. You could get used to that, right?
Yeah,
like Jennifer Garner says. Yeah, very. Now, is MLB paying for this trip?
No, this is a separate trip, unrelated to baseball.
Okay. All right. Well, may I start by giving you a brief introduction? And I apologize. I was originally going to be doing this on my laptop where I have all the info, but I had to switch to my iPad because I couldn't log in on my laptop for some reason. So you went to umpire school when?
I went to the Windelset School in 2019 and 2020.
Okay, so very recently.
Yes.
And yeah, and you, because of COVID and other interventions, you did not actually wind up working as an umpire in professional baseball, although you did umpire. That's, yeah, I know that. But you did umpire with me and the other women over in Sarasota last November, where we had a crew of all, yeah, which was fun, for the first American Girls Classic over there, which is happening again this year. Very exciting. So you are involved with the Wounded Warrior Academy also?
I am. I'm an instructor at the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. I've got their shirt on today just for this call. Make sure that I remember to give them a shout out. It's a beautiful program. And if any of you haven't heard of it, please give them a Google. Their mission is exactly what it sounds like. We teach wounded service members how to umpire baseball, and in an effort to get them back out into their communities and involved with each other and children and active again. It's a really beautiful program, and I'm really lucky to be a part of it.
Wow, good for you. Now, does that extend to getting them uniforms and equipment? Because that stuff is expensive.
Yes. So we run the actual academy part of the Wounded Warrior Academy. Is a 10-day program that we do every summer. You have to apply for it if you're a wounded veteran. We fly you in from wherever it is that you live. You get uniforms, safety gear, plate shoes, base shoes. You stay in a hotel. You're fed all of your meals. These service veterans, they don't pay a penny for the entire thing.
That's great.
They're taught how to actually umpire, and then at the end of the week, we bring in a bunch of youth baseball teams, and they actually get their first games under their belts. And we fly them home. They get to keep all of that stuff that we give them at camp. So they go home with a brand new bag full of everything they need, and they get a certificate that says that they know how to umpire, so they can take that certificate to their assigner at home or their association, and they're ready to work as soon as they get home, and everything is free to them.
That's fabulous. Now, question, do any women wounded warriors come through that
Yes.
program? All
Yes,
right.
they do.
That's great.
It's a great
Fabulous.
program. They're big.
Yeah.
They're big champions of women. They help out with my nonprofit also, and they're just a really great group. And sort of the difference for us is there are a lot of groups out there that work with veterans and do baseball. Our difference is that we don't only do baseball. We like to say that baseball is the vehicle. So at night, we do baseball all day, but at night we talk, or we do group talks together, so that these men and women who have been wounded and have injuries or illnesses, some that you can see and some that you can't, get to share with each other in a real safe environment where they can talk with each other about what they've been through, and realize that they're not alone anymore. You know, veterans, wounded veterans, have a tough time with some things that they've done or seen, and it can be hard to come home and not have that service life anymore. And a lot of them end up sort of self-isolating. And so while it's fun that they get to learn how to umpire, and that's kind of a fun thing to do, we don't, at the end of the day, what we care about most is that they're not alone anymore. And we use baseball as a way to make that happen.
So important, that component of therapeutic healing and togetherness, the feeling of not being isolated. So kudos to you for
this year.
that.
For the first time, we just ran something called the Legacy Camp through the Wounded Warrior Umpire Association. And what that was we invited, I think we had 8 gentlemen, they were all men this time, come to Daytona Beach, which is where I live, Daytona Beach, Florida, to train to be umpires. And the goal with the Legacy Camp is they got to bring somebody with them, one of their loved ones. So they all brought their, most of them brought their sons or daughters. We had one guy bring his daughter, and
Wonderful.
we trained them both. And same deal goes for the kids, just like it went for the vets earlier in the year. Everybody got brand new gear, all of the instruction that they need, they got to keep it. So we trained all 8 of them and their son or daughter with them. So now they can go home and not only be a part of their community by themselves, but they can do it with someone they already trust and love and it's on their team. And so sort of just double reinforcing the fact that they're not alone.
Oh gosh, that just gets me a little verklempt thinking about it, about something so wonderful and meaningful for so many people who deserve that kind of support and don't always get it. And especially with umpiring, after you say they've seen, the horrors of war or combat, and to be trained in a profession where things get volatile and exciting and, amped up in a big hurry, I imagine they take away techniques from what you teach them that become invaluable to them in dealing with things like PTSD and, the after effects of being in that war environment for however long. So
yeah, we talk a lot about that. I love working with vets because stuff we say blows up on the field is something that umpires would say. We don't use that word with these guys because they've been through that, and so I love
seen the real
with,
thing. You don't want to conflate the metaphor with the reality. Yeah,
they're not worried about what happens on the field. They want to be good at their job. They want to get better at umpiring, and they want to get better in general. But they don't really worry when somebody's yelling at them that it's not a strike.
Exactly.
They've seen. I like to tell them, you've seen the real thing. This is a game, and I love working with them because they get it, and they love the game. They're out there because they love it, and it's not life or death for them because they've already been through that. So this is just fun. And it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned that program works with your nonprofit, which you recently started, which is Level Ump. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
So
I
you
have
want to tell us about that?
yeah, I have a new website, we're 501c3 based in Florida. We're called Level Ump. And our mission is to support women and other underrepresented groups in baseball. There are a lot of, for throughout history, umpires have looked a certain way. And certainly that's fine. And I'm not here to say anything bad about that, but I don't see any reason why women or more people of color or people from the LGBTQ plus community couldn't be umpires. It's, there's nothing inherently masculine about the job or anything else. So our goal is to help support women and other underrepresented groups if they want to become umpires, because it can be lonely when you're the only one. And
less lonely with you on their side, I'm sure.
Exactly. We want to help them learn the rules. If you're, I remember my very first day at umpire school. They asked the room, there were about 100 of us in the room, and they said, has anybody here never umpired before? And I was in the front row because I'm a nerd, and I was sitting in the front row. And I raised my hand, and the instructor sort of looked around the room and he said, interesting. And I turned around to see what the rest of the room looked like. And I was the only person with my hand up, and I was the only woman in the room. So knowing what that felt like, it can be intimidating sometimes if you don't understand a rule then the next day or the day after, to raise your hand knowing I'm the only one that's never done this and I'm the only woman here. And I don't want other women to feel that way. I didn't. I just asked questions, but for some people it could be weird. And so what we offer is sort of that community and rules training beforehand. We also have a scholarship page open right now. So if anybody here wants to go to umpire school or knows someone who would fit the criteria of being a woman or any other underrepresented group in baseball, we are looking for applicants that we will send to the Wendelstedt Umpire School this year.
Oh, great.
And we'll pay for it.
And that's actually how you wound up going, isn't it? You won a scholarship from one of the clinics?
I did. I went on a scholarship from Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
they
those clinics
for me to go.
Those clinics are really setting a new template for how to draw women to the diamond, because umpire school is expensive. And back when I went in the 1980s, it was $600 for the month, and that included the hotel. But now it's several $1,000s plus the time that you have to invest. And that's what deters a lot of women from doing that, because women lead very busy lives in ways that men often don't, caring for, dual areas of their lives, raising families and professionally. And so, yeah, that kind of support is very, very important. Financial support as well as emotional support. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for continuing to create ways to encourage and help other women, even though you are no longer yourself actively a full-time umpire, which I know was, your heart's desire for a little while, but dreams change. Yeah, and we adapt. And I just think what you're doing now is amazing and so important to continue the trend, which is now that, gosh, when I started, there were so few women out there, and now there are so many. It's just, it makes me so happy to see that. And you're a big part of that, and big part of the reason why there are, because you are providing that support, which is so important. So thank you for doing that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Perry.
And yeah, and thank you for suggesting ways for other people to get involved. And one of them is very simple. Just, if you know somebody who has a daughter or a cousin, or, somebody who, and believe me, the thought of my mother thinking to herself in 1981, well, my daughter must want to be an umpire, so I'm going to encourage her to be an umpire. How unusual and rare that was, and probably still is. And planting that
I
seed.
love your mother for that. I love your mother so much for that. There's nothing I wanted in my life more since I was born, basically, than to be some part of professional baseball.
Wow.
And no one ever, I kept score at every game I would go to, even like I would come see your 5-year-old nephew play and keep score, and I would go to the big league ball field and I would keep score. So anything in between. And nobody ever said to me, you should be an umpire. And it took me until I was 33 years old. I saw a picture of Emma Charlesworth Sealer and Jen Powell in uniform. And when I saw that photo, something clicked. And I went,
light bulb.
Why has no one, I didn't think I couldn't be an umpire. I just never thought about being one in the first place.
Yeah.
So I love that your mother gave that gift to you earlier on. And that's really the main, I mean, we want to help individuals, right, with Level Ump, and I want to help individual women or other underrepresented folks go to umpire school and be better. But my main drive is, if you can see it, you can be it. And if I had seen a woman in an umpire uniform when I was 20, I would have gone to umpire school when I was 20 and not when I was 35. And it might have turned out different for me. So what I'm trying to do now with Level Up is get those pictures out, get those stories out, and be a place that people can come to share their story with me, ask me questions about the rules, ask me what it's like to work there. And it's just, it would have really changed my life. So I know that it's kind of a cheesy hashtag thing to say, if you can see it, you can be it, but it really changed my life. And I love that your mother gave you that in 1981. I wish somebody had given me that in 1991. It would have changed my life
would
be
a lot different if she hadn't. So thank you. So I see we're getting past 3:20, and Greta has a plane to catch, everybody. She's a busy lady, and I want to thank you so much for taking time out. There is a question about, question was asked in the chat. What kind of response have you been getting to your highlights on your Level Ump things? Because I see them on Twitter, and I don't know what other social media you use, but when I see them, I always, am very happy, and I try to leave a comment. So
we appreciate that. Yeah, it's been really fun. I think that's part of my real campaign, to show as many kinds of people umpiring as possible. Because if you turn on the television and you watch Big League Baseball, which is, what's on TV, you're going to see overwhelmingly one kind of person umpiring.
Right.
And
Angel Hernandez.
Which is great.
Yes. He gets a much worse rap than he deserves.
I watched 1 billion hours of baseball when I was a kid. I fell asleep every night during the season with the game on the radio in my room, because I wasn't allowed to have TV. So I would fall asleep to the games on the radio, and not once did I think about this job, which has been the most beautiful thing I've ever done. I love it. I love the game. I love the idea of the responsibility of being in charge of the integrity of the game and in protecting this thing that we all love so much. Umpires are not out there to get you. Our job is to protect the integrity of the national pastime, and I take that very seriously. And if somebody had ever put it to me that way when I was a kid, instead of just yelling at umpires and seeing umpires who didn't look like me, I would have known way earlier what I wanted to do with my life. And what I want to do is help protect the game. So I think it's a great opportunity So our daily highlights have been going pretty well. I think it's people get excited when they see people that look like them.
And what is the Twitter address for that?
I'll have to dump in a link. So levelump.com, at the bottom of our website, there's links to all of our social media, so you can click there. But what Leslie was asking about is we do it's called it's a hashtag, and then it's Ump Day every Wednesday, like Ump Day, because Wednesday's Ump Day. We do Ump Day, and so every Wednesday we feature a new umpire. We've done a few from back in the day, historically, like Amanda Clement.
My hero.
We've done Perry has been a featured umpire. This
Not
week,
my hero.
our featured umpire is Courtney Clements. I've worked with her before. She's great, and she has the most adorable little girl at home who likes to wear her mom's umpire hat and practice her strike three call. We've got another one coming, and in a reel, if you see it, you can be at situation. So that's just the goal of that, is just to share and to show. You know, when I wanted to become an umpire, I didn't know another umpire. I called everybody I knew, and I had lots of baseball contacts, and I couldn't find another umpire. And I don't want it to be that hard. I don't want anybody who wants to do this in the future to have to make 20 phone calls. I want them to know that we're out there and we're available to help you learn the rules and help you learn how to live on the road and find gear that fits you, which is a big thing. You know, they don't make umpire gear for women.
Yes, so still a big problem. So
we're
I have a suggestion for your next level. Why don't you do a feature on Sophiyah, who has joined us? I see all the way from Taiwan. Hello, Sophiyah. Thank you so much for being here. And want to thank you so much, Greta, for joining us during your busy schedule. There she is.
Hi, Sophiyah.
Hello, Sophiyah.
Hi, good afternoon.
I've always wanted to meet you. Excuse me, everybody else on the phone call, while I fangirl out a little bit. I've always wanted to meet Sophiyah. So hi, this is really exciting for me.
I already signed up the level up the Twitter and the website, I think 2 months ago. Yeah.
All right. So you're next up, Sophiyah. So anyway, safe travels, Greta. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm gonna go hop on my plane. I wish I could stay. But thanks, Perry, for all that you're doing. Leslie, thank you. And Ryan and Lisa and everybody else who's here. I see lots of names that I recognize, and I wish I could hang out longer today, but perhaps again in the future.
All right. Well, we're all a part of the growing tribe. You know, everybody has their own little niche, and what you're doing is really important. So thank you too very much, Greta.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, Sophiyah.
Hi.
How is it in Taiwan right now?
You mean the weather or anything?
Yes. How is it?
It's super hot. Yes, super hot.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it is where I am too, in Florida, super hot and humid.
Yeah.
And it's raining right now, so no baseball. And it's raining in New York, so no Mets. But we're getting a postseason, oddly enough, even though the Mets aren't in the postseason, we're getting one anyway, because there's been so much rain. They couldn't play a few games last week. So anyway, welcome to the Zoom. Thank you so much for being here, because as Greta said, you are the umpire that all of us other women umpires fangirl over. I'm going to talk about your biography for just a minute here, which is incredibly impressive. You have won all sorts of awards and accolades for umpiring in international settings. You are the first woman to umpire from Taipei. You wanted to play baseball when you were a girl, but you were told that girls didn't play baseball. So you completed an umpire training course in 2008, I believe, and were then told that girls didn't umpire either. Kind of a double whammy. So this is one of the reasons why I admire you so much, because you had a lot of doors slammed in your face and you just kept going, and the ones you couldn't kick open or pry open, you just found another entrance. And that's what we've had to do. And I admire you very much for persisting in spite of the fact that you didn't have much support, especially at the beginning, when it's really kind of ironic that umpires don't get a lot of support because they don't have the skills yet. But it's actually when they need that support the most. Because when they don't get it, it makes them not want to continue umpiring, because it's not fun being yelled at and told you're terrible. And did you go through a lot of that when you first started umpiring? People saying you'll never be a good umpire, or were you just a natural? Did people recognize your talent right away?
Actually, I got a huge pressure from umpires ourselves. So I don't really get too much compared to the fans and the coaches and teams. I think the coaches and teams are even more friendly to me. Probably I'm too stranger to them. So, well,
Right.
Compared to that, I think those attitude from my colleagues, that's the worst.
Oh, okay. Well, now in 2009, you became the interpreter for the New York Yankees. Did that help with your standing with your colleagues at all, that you had such a prestigious appointment to do this for, the New York Yankees? Did that help at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
because
good.
I started to become an umpire in 2006, and I really had very, very tough time. I mean, that's unfortunately, I don't know what to say, but in Asia, the women's rights is not so so equal as a man,
Right.
because of the traditional. So when I tried to become an umpire, and then I realized some taboo in our baseball culture. For example, women are not. There was an old saying that skirts not allowed. So I was
And
not
from what
allowed.
I read, girls weren't, even though you umpired, girls were not permitted to work the plate when you first
Yeah.
started. Is that true? Yeah,
at
that's
the
so
beginning
weird.
because I'm not allowed to touch the ball. So
That,
that
that's
it was so spooky that once an umpire very nice to me, so he told me that your dream is to become a print umpire. I said yes, I want to do that. So he said, okay, I will help you out. I will ask next game I will send a bad boy, and he will hold the ball for you. So when you be a print umpire, he will hold the ball and ball back for you behind you, so you don't have to touch the ball, because I'm not. Yeah. So because I cannot deliver a ball to pitcher.
is that some superstition or just?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it sounds
Yeah.
so
So I'm
odd to
not
me.
allowed. Yeah. So I really have tough time, So I
Yeah.
still remember I brought my gear to the stadium, to a ballpark, and asked for a chance. I told them that I'm willing to do this volunteer. You don't have to pay me. Just let me to, join the game. And they just told me that skirts not allowed. Just get out. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was so ridiculous. So I know that would be different. I mean, outside of our country, I believe that. So
And to
I
me,
try.
one of the obstacles to your learning and becoming better and improving as an umpire is that Taiwan is not mainland, it's an island, and there's very limited space for baseball fields there. I know there is a professional baseball league, but
Yes.
baseball is not, not the main focus of, you know, the sporting fans the way it is here in the United States. So you have very limited opportunities to umpire games at all.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah, I mean, I think it was in Hong Kong. They only played on Sundays or something. Is that the same in Taiwan?
No,
Or
in
do
Taiwan,
they
it
play
was,
every day?
yes.
Okay.
Taiwan, we call baseball as a national ball, national
Uh-huh.
sports. It's a most popular sports in Taiwan. So
Oh, okay.
that is very spooky that how come most popular sports in Taiwan and not allow girls. So that was a really shock to me. So I think that was unreasonable. So as you say that when I was 13, I tried to apply to join our baseball team in my school, and my teachers told me that girls not allowed, and I give up. So when I was age 26, I told myself I'm an adult now. There's no reason if somebody tell me I cannot do it, and I just give up. Yeah, so I'm not 13 girls anymore. I can do it.
Right.
When I was 13, I have the excuse that to give up because my teacher, my principal say no.
Yeah.
But I'm already 26. I'm an adult. Only I can make myself to give up. So I decided to, stay in the game. So although I only have
And
a
did you have
limited,
any role models at this point? Did you have any umpiring role models, or you just wanted to do it because you felt inspired, you know, for some magical spark that happened?
at the beginning, I don't have the role model, but I'm very lucky that in 2006 there was a Women's World Cup in
Yes.
in Taipei, and
Yes.
Lisa was the umpire. So you
Yes.
can see that
Lisa Turbot. Yes.
yeah. So you can see that women can do that. So when I argue with other umpires, I will ask them why. They are Americans, women umpires. How come Taiwan is not allowed? Yeah, something like that. So I know
Yeah.
that I have to, if I want to if I want to stay in the game. So if I don't have a chance as an umpire, I can do other roles to participate in tournaments. So I decided to be an interpreter. So I was become an interpreter from I think 2008, and I interpreted for Chinese Taipei national team, local teams, and also the foreign teams in Taiwan. And I was assigned as a Yankees interpreter in 2000. I November, I think November in 2009, and that was amazing because the Yankees coach, they saw how those men uh, abuse me. I mean, I would say that they were bullying me. I mean, people not willing to talk to me, and they just treat me as an air. When I say something, they just ignore me, and I'm not allowed to touch a lot of stuff. So the coach say, "Why? Why I do that to you?" Yeah, and I'll tell them that I want to be a baseball umpire, and that's the problem. So I asked them that I just want to be an umpire. Please tell me why women cannot be a baseball umpire. Yeah, just tell me why. And I already fight for that over 2 years. So I was so frustrated. I mean, I was so dismayed. I was angry, but I have no support. I mean, some support, yeah, but I have to face a lot of bullying, and I have to face a lot even the fights and even sexual harassment. Yeah, so I was so angry with that, and the Yankees told me that they willing to help me, so they told me they're going to sponsor my gear, including women's protector, because some people told me that I told you why, Sophia, why you cannot be an umpire. You see, the equipment they never ever designed for women. So if you want to be a print umpire, where are you going to put your boom? That was so rude. I told them that I will use mine. I will use mine. I will not borrow yours. Yeah, it's not your business. So when Yankees sponsor me my gear, and they introduced me the brand All Star, the American brand All Star in Boston. And actually, there's a factory in Taiwan as well. So they told me that just go over there, they will customize my gear. And then the owner of the factory said, if you want to be an umpire, we are willing to sponsor you. So they still sponsor me till now. And also, I want to be a better umpire. So that's why I went to Hong Kong to be an umpire, and where I meet Perry, right? In Hong Kong, and then Australia.
Yeah. Do you remember going to the all-night market and drinking snake oil?
Yeah. So
we had some adventures. That was fun.
So I went to Hong Kong, and then I umpired in Australia. And then they told me that all the best umpires, you should try to go to the umpire school in the States. So I asked All Star to sponsor me to umpire school. So I went to the Jim Evans in 2011 and Harry Wenders in 2015 and 16. Yeah, that's just my way to be an umpire. So
Wow.
still now I'm umpiring. Yeah, you can see my skin. You can see my face mark in yeah. And I also start my own association, an AGO called and named the Taiwan Sport for War Association. We help out the women athletes and especially teenagers, and we provide financial support, scholarship, and some protector clinic and English class. I insist our girls need to learn English, because if you learn English, you can knock the door to the world. I told girls that yeah, I told our girls that if I don't speak English, I'm still pick up the balls in our ballpark. I can never get to become who I am. English course and some project. I already sent you my PPT. Maybe please share with everybody. Yeah, and our website as well. So our slogan of our organization is "Strong Women, Better World." Yeah, and we empower girls and women and to throw sports. Yeah.
So have you worked every women's, have you umpired every women's World Cup since 2006?
From the 2010 and 2016, 18, and this year.
And I just have to brag on you a little bit to everybody here. When Sophiyah and I were at the Women's World Cup in 2018 in Florida down here, she broke her arm the night before the tournament even started. And she was so determined not to let it keep her from umpiring the tournament that she didn't even really seek treatment for it and just went ahead and umpired with a broken arm, and is just my absolute hero for that. And I'm trying to find a picture of you. Oh, here it is. Yeah, very low tech because I'm using my iPad instead of but here, can you see this? Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There you are getting treatment for your arm. And another picture of you that I love looking at, because it's you and two ladies who are very, very dear to all of us and never stopped thinking about them or seeing them enough. Here, I'll get it in just a second. Here you go.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's Maybelle and Shirley. And
yes.
Shirley loved you and Maybelle loves you, and they are just so supportive and love seeing your stuff on Facebook and hearing what you're doing. And I forgot to mention, you've won some pretty prestigious awards. You won, what was it? From the Olympic Committee, you won the International Olympic Committee Women in Sport World Trophy, which is the highest honor that the IOC bestows in the category as part of its change makers and advancing women and girls through sport. So that's pretty much, you can't get any better than that in amateur baseball, which is what you and I primarily do. But I'm curious, have you ever thought of working umpiring in the professional league in Taiwan? Or are they not receptive to women doing that yet?
Well, frankly speaking, in 2011 in Geneva, I kind of have a dream to stay in States and try for a chance in professional league. Unfortunately, you heard about the Genevans, what happened next year. Yeah, and as an Asian, they gave me hard time over there as well. So I was kind of frustrated. So I thought I have no chance to become a professional umpire. So I give up and come back to Taiwan. Yeah. So when I was in Taiwan, well, I'm not so enthusiastic to become the professional league because
I see.
That the stereotype was it's not the grass seeing. It is a wall. I remember. I think it was it's 2000, maybe 13, maybe I don't remember the number. I was interpreter for the Asia Professional Cup. I was an interpreter for Italian umpires, and before the game we will rub the ball, in the umpire room, and the umpires still told me don't touch the ball, don't rub the ball. I asked them why, and he told me that women not allowed, don't touch the ball. And I told him that he was the supervisor for a minor league in Taiwan umpires. So I asked him, say, why you say that to me? And he said, that's our tradition. Just don't touch the ball because you're women. And I told him that, I say, hey, you are level 2. In Taiwan, we have level A, national level, level B, level C umpire. We have 3 level in our amateur umpire season. I told him that I respect you because you are older than me, in our culture. You are senior than me. I respect you. But I want to remind you that I'm national level umpire. You are the B umpire, and I am the umpire for WBSC, and I complete the umpire school in States. Why you tell me not to touch the ball? And unfortunately, my reaction for you is normal, but in Taiwan, that is very, very impolite. So the room, I still remember the room, couple men just yelling at me to shut up. How
Which
dare
is
you to
why
say that?
I admire and respect you so much. No, I'm serious, because you have so much inner fortitude and courage to stand up for yourself that way in a culture where it is not, it's frowned upon, and it takes a lot of stones to do that. And you talked briefly about your time at the Jim Evans Umpire School. Well, I want to explain to the people watching that you were the impetus for that umpire school's Me Too moment. And a lot of it had to do with general attitudes, not just towards women, but, racist attitudes and just really bad karma that permeated the way umpires were being taught at that school. And you bore the brunt of a lot of vicious, unnecessary attacks at that school that when I heard it, when you told me about them, I was just horrified. But as a result of your standing up and making known what was going on, the school was dissolved, which it needed to be, because it was like a festering sore. There was no cleansing it, exposing it and cleaning out the gunk. It had to be amputated completely. And you were a big part of the reason that happened, and why umpiring in the last 10 years, especially in professional baseball, has advanced. And now this past year, I know there were at least 6 women umpiring in professional baseball over here, and that is a record. That has never happened before. And a lot of that is the reason, the shift in the umpire schools. Once Jim Evans was dissolved, it was taken over by minor league baseball. And the attitude is so much different now and so much better. And it's because of you and what you did and what you represented and how brave you were to stand up for yourself in that kind of a setting where people were so vicious toward you for no reason other than that you're a woman. And in some cases, because you're an Asian woman, which is even worse, obviously, a lot of, racial undertones to a lot of the abuse that you took. But I want to thank you so much for that, Sophiyah. And I'm just tickled that Lisa Turbot had so much to do with your international experience and your success as an international umpire, because she is this big guiding light in Canada. And I want to show a picture of you from the, actually, I don't know if you're in this picture. I think you're absent from it.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a picture of 6 women umpires up in Thunder Bay. Here it is.
It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. I didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah. What, were you in the bathroom? Anyway, to me, that picture represents something so special and amazing, that all those women were together, and they didn't keep them apart during the games. They put women on a crew together, which is, the next hurdle, not just getting one woman out there or one woman out there and then another woman out there somewhere else, but getting women together so that we represent unity and sisterhood, I guess. And you're such a big part of that, of changing the attitudes and the paradigms, and so important for you to have done that. And I want to personally thank you for that. And fangirl all over you, just like, but yeah. And as far as Lisa Turbot is concerned, did she invite you to umpire the Women's World Cup, or where did that invitation come from specifically?
I believe that the invitation is from the General Secretary, Miss Lau. Yeah, from Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there, and that's some arm of the committee that heads up that organization. Is that how it works?
Yep, probably, because when I was umpire, before I got the assignment from the the World Cup we umpired together in Florida in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I got a phone call from my supervisor in Taiwan, and because I got the assignment from the WBSC, and my supervisor called me and tell me to give up, because he doesn't want to send me to the World Cup.
Oh my God.
And
he couldn't even be supportive. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so he called me that he got the assignment from the WBSC, so there's nothing he can do, so he asked me to give up. So I told him that why should I give up? And he said,
I bet he didn't ask any of the men to give up.
Yeah. So he said I should give the opportunity to other people. Yeah. So I say no, I want to go. Yeah. So the next time when I meet January secretary, and I told her that what the pressure I have, even I got assignments, and my supervisor called me and say something like that, and so she say, okay, we'll try to contact you directly.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
So,
Okay.
So I think I got assignment from her. Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. Yeah,
So
it's so
it was
important.
so ridiculous, right? People just told me. I still remember when I umpired for the Women's World Cup in 2010 in Venezuela.
That was in Venezuela. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember the day. It's so clear, before the day I go to Venezuela. I was in the stadium and I was in the practice game, and another main umpire just told me on face, how dare you go to World Cup? You will shame your country. Why don't you just give up? Don't go. You're gonna shame Taiwan, You are not qualified. You're not good enough to umpire World Cup. Just don't go. And so I just look at him that I think I will go. Yeah, I will not.
All right.
Just that. So it's so difficult. So I thanks again for this great opportunity to share my story, because I don't know what to say. To this pressure, not everyone can hear that, because you are not even imagine it happens in real world.
And that you have
told
achieved,
you to give up.
That you have achieved so much in spite of all the the naysaying and the detractors. You've even written a book. You wrote a book about umpiring that you sent me, and
Yes.
I'm sure it's a bestseller. So your influence is far-reaching, and you definitely deserve a lot more respect than you're getting from your colleagues over there. But over here, we love and appreciate you so much, and I just want to thank you for joining us. Tara, are you telling me to wind it down? I know we're getting close to 4 o'clock. Do we have time for a couple of questions from anybody? Does anybody have anything they want to ask?
We have time
Sophia?
for questions.
Okay, ask away. And if somebody doesn't, I will. Oh, Lisa, hi.
Oh, so I'm going through the chat. Someone suggested earlier on that hearing an umpire's perspective on Angel Hernandez would be interesting. I don't think we have enough time for that.
Well, like I said, he gets a worse rap than he deserves. And once you get that bad rap, it's very hard to shake it, unfortunately. So, I'm not, he's a major league umpire. What am I going to do? Criticize him?
And leave that to the fans.
Exactly. Not that I'm not a fan, but I see things through a slightly different lens than most fans, or even committed or casual. So
someone wants to know what's next for you, Sophia.
Oh, thank you so much.
Me too.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, I run my NGO to support the women girls in sports, and also since I think your compliment and this honor for me is responsibility. So also I advocate the women's rights in sports in our government. So for example, during we have the Me Too movement in Taiwan this year. So I also raise voice to our vice president, and because it's campaign for president now, so it's a good timing to advocate women's rights. Yeah, so I'm very proud to say that in Taiwan we will have the first arena, first indoor baseball stadium, and there will be a female umpire room.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's exciting about the arena. So you'll get more baseball in that.
And we will have the women's umpire room. So I do the I am a social worker, so my organization help the girls in sport directly, and also I would love to try to do the advocate our policy to change our system. So I think this kind of conference is very important as well. We share and we unite and we raise our voice, and through the system we can make something change. Just
That
not
is
just
so
umpire
true.
every day. Yeah.
It
I would like
it has to be a multi-pronged approach with a lot of
Yes.
participation and
Yes.
someone to lead, and you are that leader. You have created, pathways for other women to do what you do, in other places at other levels. And doing that it's crucial to, continuing to draw women to umpiring and to improving your situation in Taiwan, so that, the next generation of women won't have to battle the way you have had to. And I'm just so grateful to you that you have accepted that, you're the warrior. You're doing it so that the next women down the line won't have to have such a tough time. And that's so important. And you're my hero.
Well, we are all heroes. We are all doing that, right?
Yes, so
Yes.
much, very much so.
All right.
So
One more question. Well, if you can answer it really quickly. Sophia,
Sure.
what was your favorite experience while working with the Yankees, your favorite game, and your favorite player with whom you interacted? Fit all that into like
Ooh,
60 seconds.
Oh,
favorite Yankee.
that's just too much. My favorite game was in the South Korea 2016. It was a game India against Japan, and I was a playing umpire. And that's just a very fast game because the Japan women's girls, they dominate the game. But you know what? After the game, the whole India team, the whole team, whole girls, they came to me, hugged me, kissed my hands, and I was
Kiss the ring.
yeah, and and kiss my and hug me, and I didn't know what happened. I thought they did that every game, and then after the game, I realized that no, they only did that to me. So for me, I think because the attitudes, I treat them, I respect them. I call my call, not a super wise, right wrong, and I encourage the girls. So I respect them. I think they feel my heart. So we support each other. Although they are little girls, but we support each other. That's the most beautiful moment. On the baseball diamond, we are not enemy. Even the umpires and the players, we work together. We enjoy the game. We know we have to work together. And the meaningful of the game is every girls, we have the chance, we have the equal right to become who I am. Yeah, so that's why we have to support each other. So that is the best game I ever umpired. So I will.
Who was your favorite Yankee?
I have to say that the Mets sponsor our organization now. So it's kind of, it's kind, yeah. It's kind.
That's fair. On that note, thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
With us, and thank you, Perry, for a wonderful panel. That was awesome.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And thank you, Lisa. Sorry, I didn't get to play. She sent a video. My apologies. But because of my problem with my desktop, I couldn't do it. So I apologize. But thank you for joining us from, where is it, 4 o'clock in the morning in Taiwan. So appreciate it very much. And thank you for hosting us, Lisa and Leslie. Appreciate it very much for giving us this platform to talk about umpiring.